Welcome back, everyone, to the Pros Talk. I'm here with Tony Barrus of Barrus Bookkeeping and Services. Sir, how are we doing today?
Great, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one because we were talking before we went on the air that I've had the pleasure of front-end loading the podcast up till now, and now I'm sitting across from somebody that I think you've been in the group now just coming on 2 years?
Third year. This would be my third year.
So You'll be renewing for your third time.
Yep.
And like we said, 1 year of that is non-existent because we were locked down. We didn't have meetings. We couldn't interconnect. But really, you're a stranger to me.
Right.
So I think this is going to be fun.
Great.
It's like the other ones are almost rehearsed because I know the interests and I'm able to pull it through. So as we spoke before, I'm going to promise not to make you cry. We're not going to do shots till after 11 o'clock.
All right.
And not on the air.
Yeah.
Sound about right?
That sounds good.
So Tony Barrus, you know, the whole point of this is to get people to know a bit about the professionals in the organization and in the community. Lots of people probably out there because you're newer to the area. Who's Tony?
Well, I started my own pool business, swimming pool business, actually back in '98. I'm from the States, around close to Detroit, in Indiana, though. So I've been doing that. When I got married, divorced, and then I got married, moved here in 2014, and continued to do the handyman stuff. Started a little handyman construction business. And over the years, my body's kind of been falling apart.
You and me both.
Every year something's different and worse. So I figured I'm not going to be able to retire on doing construction and stuff like that long.
You might, but your body's going to break.
Yeah.
Right?
What used to take a day to recoup or no time now takes a week.
Somebody told me that's from getting old.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And I'm not impressed.
No, I'm anti-old.
Yeah.
I'm
waiting for that pill. Waiting for that pill.
Yeah, the one that reverses us.
Yeah, so I 3 years ago I got into QuickBooks basically. I did all my bookkeeping on my own. Had some family kind of show me the ropes when I started. So I was familiar with doing books. So I took the QuickBooks certification and got through all that. And so I started doing some bookkeeping and finding some clients. So now part of the time I sit around the desk. Well, I find that hurts my body almost sometimes just as much as
it does.
Some
it's
other
like
stuff.
A lot of people, like office. I know a lot of people that come from construction and think that office job is the good exit. But even myself, like I've got a bad back right now. And I guarantee it's from sitting in that damn chair all the time. And it's not good because you have to take those breaks and get up and moving.
Well, that's what I found, though. When I'm done with work, I feel like I can go for a walk or I could go do something.
Yeah.
Versus when in construction, when I'm done with work.
You come home and die.
I'm dead. Right. So
I wasn't always
difference.
a desk boy, so I feel your pain.
I think I can last a little longer with the bookkeeping. So as long as we can keep the clients coming.
I remember when I was in college, I entered college really young. I was 18. So like I wasn't allowed to drink. I remember that. Like the first 3 months, like I was a late birthday. But I was amazed. There was like 80 people in our class and the 20 of them were 50-something roofers. And apparently roofers, talking to them, is probably one of the hardest jobs on your body. You're hunched over, you're on awkward angles, lifting material at an awkward angle all the time. But yeah, they all thought the desk job was good. And I know one of those I became very close friends with, and he lives at West, and his body is continued to deteriorate. It's crazy, and he thinks it's the chair. It just, he was actually doing better keeping moving.
Yeah,
So I mean, and we're big guys. I mean, I used to be fit. I used to be everything else. But when I sit stagnant and I pull these 10-hour power sessions at the desk, it's nasty. So I feel your pain, brother. In that one.
You see the commercial. Sitting is the new smoking. So.
Well, then I smoke a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. All right. So leading into the bookkeeping, the company. How many years ago did you found it?
2018.
2018. So you've been at it a few years, but you got a really key element that I think is pretty cool and that I hope catches like wildfire is this virtual bookkeeping. Give me a little what is about that.
Well, yeah, when I come into the bookkeeping, I kind of come in as a fresh person looking at it, and with where we're at in the technology world right now. So I look to use all of the apps and the software and the technology to our advantage. And by doing some of that virtually, or all of it, you're able to almost be more productive. You cut out some of the wasted time.
And QuickBooks is almost set up for it, right? Like they want you to go virtual.
Yes.
So really, you're the cloud. You're where people are sending stuff.
I use the QuickBooks Online, so there is a difference between QuickBooks Desktop, which is still on your computer. You can save it in the cloud and stuff. A lot of people don't understand a lot about the cloud and like what it is, so they're kind of skeptical sometimes about, is it going to disappear? What's going to happen to the cloud? Which can't really happen the way it's set up, so it's very secure. Another thing they wonder about is communication. If we're not sitting down in a room like this, we're not going. Our production's not. We're not going to be productive. We're not going to. I haven't done that before. I'm used to the in-house bookkeeper, somebody I can
with
go
a double ledger.
I can go see that, or just that they can see face to face.
Yeah.
And with the technology now, you can do that with somebody out in Alberta.
And that's got to be your toughest hurdle, though. Is everyone's used to doing this. Mm-hmm. Well, they were. Sorry, let's go back. Like you're kind of set up for COVID. That's the saving grace. But most people are so used to going to a destination, sitting across from a bookkeeper, an architect, an engineer, whatever you want. But you're trying to bend that curve, and I mean, kudos to you. That's going to be a difficult ride to bend that curve, and like you said, to break that mold of people saying, "I like to sit across from you." But I mean, do you find it helps with Skype and Zoom and all that stuff? People now are so used to it. Is that benefiting you and helping you bend that curve a little more?
Very much so. It's and there's so many out there, so it kind of depends what the client can use or wants to use. Sometimes I notice sometimes I'm going outside of the bookkeeper realm into training somebody on how to use Skype or Zoom or some other app, even spreadsheets. I had one, and I got to draw the line there because I had one client starting to. I'm like, that's more like a group leader job or something. I shouldn't be making.
You're gonna have to do consultant fees on training
exactly
people to use
so.
Zoom.
And I like doing that stuff better than the actual number crunch and sitting there entering all the numbers in. That's part of it, but I like the consulting. So even with whether you're sitting in front of me or we're on the phone or a Skype meeting, it's all about collaboration. You know, the old bookkeepers or some of the old clients are used to they give you the bookkeeper the paperwork and just let me know what I owe you.
Yeah, that's very true, because I mean, I've talked about my dad a lot on this, and he owned a company back 80s right into mid 90s. And yeah, he dropped a box off and he got an invoice. He didn't know what was happening, and I think today's entrepreneur wants a little back and forth and want to understand that a bit. So that's what you're offering. You're offering a little bit more of a personal touch per se.
Yeah, because
personal virtual touch.
I don't see it helps to grow a business, I think, by knowing where you're at financially, and you can't really do that unless nowadays you're able to keep up today on banking and everything. So in the old days, you didn't have the technology of today where you could keep everything up to date. So if you have a business decision to make tomorrow and buy in some equipment or whatever, you know where you're at financially and how you can either plan it out or whether you can afford to hire people or stuff.
I'm always amazed. I'm 43, so I'm kind of that mid-range entrepreneur. I've been doing this a while, but as much as I can sit across from somebody that has virtual bookkeeping, which is pretty cutting edge, new stigma, I'm still one of those guys that has like back pocket old school stuff. Like all my creditors, I still pay by check. I need that record, and I don't trust per se EMT and all this other stuff. Because if you forget to print it, all it's going to do is say EMT transfer. It doesn't say, hey, you paid Tony Barrus of Bookkeeping Services for this and this invoice. Yeah. I wish they would expand the fields that you're allowed to enter on EMTs, at least with business services, because when if you follow, I know you follow what I'm saying. Is I hand you an EMT to enter into my banking as a business. How the hell do you know what I paid?
I have that problem with some clients. If you're just going through the bank feed, that's where with QuickBooks you can snap a picture of a receipt. So I sent you an invoice.
Okay.
So then we can match the two up.
But
there's one way.
But a check, it's already matched with a memo note.
Yeah, but once I moved here, I haven't used a check since. I come from in the States and when I first started, everything was handwritten.
Yeah.
The ledger, checks. I ran a checking account through everything. Once I moved here, you had the chip cards, which we didn't have, and your banking tech was just. I don't even think we can still send EMTs in the States. I'm not really sure. So your banking tech was a little ahead of us. So I like that, and I've tried to use that. But yeah, there's drawbacks on some of the EMTs if I'm not careful. That's why it helps to keep up on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I can ask you, hey, what was this EMT for last week, versus everybody wait until the end of the year, and then I ask you, what was this EMT for back in January?
So any of those kids that you loaned lunch money to back in Detroit in the old day, we want to know if EMTs work. They can just transfer that over to you now?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
No, it is crazy because I'm a QuickBooks desktop guy.
Yep.
Just tip your mic up.
Okay.
No, that's all good. You can raise it up a bit too if you want. Sorry. I'm a QuickBooks desktop type guy. I haven't got into the cloud service. Like I said, I'm still. I got like some old blood in me. I like to see paper. I like to see. But I mean, my son, he started his own company, and he's using the online thing, and he's snapping pictures of receipts and checks and everything else. And I'm like, I just look at it. I'm like, where the hell's that going?
See, and I'm 51, so I can be in the middle.
You're in the same group as me.
I understand the paper way, the old way, but I also have been able to catch on to a lot of the new way and how things are going to progress. Eventually, I think some of the old way will just go by the wayside.
Do you?
Eventually, yeah.
I think I'm one of those nut jobs that, like, I think TJ Smith was here and we were talking, and we talked about Merrickville a little bit. And Merrickville, Ontario is unique because it's going backwards in a good way. We got glass blowers, and we got a lot of heritage mentality, and people almost in that community they read the paper and they want to sit and have a coffee with strangers to talk. Mm. The high-tech fast-paced world, you and I are never going to have that opportunity, because everything's going to be, I emailed them, I texted them, I scanned it. I think sitting down and having coffee, you and I were talking, somebody to talk to, somebody to mentor and to chum around with. I don't think as humans we can go that non-contact route. And I personally believe where I was going with this is the de-evolution. And one of the benefits of COVID that I've seen is hoping that things slow down and people understand pace and progress equal quality and quantity. And I think that's going to be the days when you and I had to have 50 clients and be stressed every night juggling. I'm hoping that's 25 and there's a 25 person lineup so that we're never out of work.
Right. It's always.
Did I go too deep?
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I kind of was, but that's all right. Yeah, ask me a question. I guess I'm kind of lost.
Well, no, it's just words. Like, do you find the high pace, like you said the high tech world's going to kind of replace some of the old tech, but I don't know if check writing and stuff is ever going to go away. That's my fear, that if it does, it'll all just be too high paced, too tech involved.
Yeah, but Is that what they said when all the other what was it, the fourth generation started happening?
Yeah.
I mean, I had a
And we
page
probably
out for
right.
some of that we're on the brink of the fifth generation. Technology is changing the world.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
And,
I've got all
but
the
there's
smart
still
devices.
going to
but-
be people that are comfortable with what they're using, and that's one thing I do. Is I'm not here to tell you how to do your books or what to use. I want to educate you in keeping up your books and at least using what you have and understanding, and not just if I say. I had one yesterday I was talking to, and he's like, I don't know, my bookkeeper's got all that. I don't go on there because I don't want to mess it up.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
And to me, it's like, well, that's understandable. You know, that's why I'm here to. But I want to make you
tool, right?
Yeah, I don't want you to. If you just want to give it to me and I'll do it, that's fine. It's great. I got a couple of truck drivers that every quarter they just give me their pile and I do it, and I file their GST and stuff. So I do some payroll, tax, remittances and stuff also. But there's some, I like to focus on some of the startup, and it's real difficult where to start. How to start, and then it's easier though if you learn it at the beginning instead of getting
building that block, right?
Instead
you
of
want to get them in that mold.
a year from now, and then you're going, oh, I got to deal with the taxes. Well, you say taxes, it's not just one tax.
No.
And a lot of people don't understand how much. And that's what I'm finding, trying to educate them on you. There's not just one tax if you're a business owner.
No, and
there's so many.
I think that's a key point, and I can't agree more that stepping block and that starting point and aligning yourself with the right people or tools, and I'm going to refer to you as an add-on tool, right?
Yeah.
Like any business that's like, hey, here we go, right? And they don't know what quarterly remittances are, or they don't know about source deductions, or they don't know about just what is to be taxed and what's not to be taxed, because that's a whole nother playing field here in Canada as well, right?
Yeah.
Some things don't have tax.
Right.
So aligning themselves with somebody like yourself, Tony, I mean, that's a good add-on tool for those startups or the people that maybe are just looking to delegate a little bit more too, because there's a lot of us like me. I do all my own books. Sometimes I wish I had somebody like you, and then other times I use it to fill the gaps. You know, especially year end. Like I close the offices for 2 weeks. I go through it all. It's done. Give it to my accountant. She files. But I think that was a cool point for you, is to say that those startup guys are key, because you're going to get them in the right track,
Right.
rather than cleaning up a mess after a year or two not on
And
the
now
track.
they've got this negative thing of own business.
Yeah.
You know, trying to own a business.
stress.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Don't do that.
Yeah, and the stress too,
because
right?
they didn't start out right. Yeah, there's more stress, and like it's not stressful enough. A lot of it is just not knowing. But once you, so some people don't want to do the books, and that's fine. But they still should understand where they're at. Right?
It's one of the biggest
you don't
issues
have to do
Natasha
your
and
books.
I argue about.
You don't have to do your books. That's
Yeah.
great. But you should understand, a lot of accountants, or at the end of the year, you'll get these financial statements. I've done a few videos I've put out there on understanding the financial statements.
More than a few. You've done quite a bit of them.
Yeah, it was something I tried once COVID hit, going out of my realm a little bit, trying to start something different. And my wife says, well, why are you doing that? I said, well, how many bookkeepers do you know that are doing that, or for their clients or for anybody else? Just going above and beyond a little bit sometimes, you know how
Or
we
different.
do that.
Like, you don't have to be the old guy in a suit,
Yep,
sitting behind
yep.
200 pounds of paper on each side of you, flanking.
If you want a suit guy, you're probably looking in the wrong, unless you need me in your wedding to stand up in your wedding or something.
It still might be one of those suit T-shirts.
No, I look pretty good in it.
Do ya?
I've
You
done
clean
it
up?
a couple times, but
You
yeah.
did the home show. I think when I came around the corner and saw you at the home show 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yeah. It's
COVID's
just-
messing with my head. I don't even know what year it was. But yeah, I think I razzed you a bit. I was like, hey, you do clean up pretty good.
Yeah, but and then another thing I like about the virtual that you see joking about all the time, but half the time I don't have to wear pants. When we do virtual meetings.
Yeah, everyone that's been doing this pajama
just make
bottom,
sure angle
this
the camera.
pajama,
right?
yeah, always check, and don't get up to get anything.
Right.
Yeah, you're staying seated, but most people have done this pajama bottom interview joke thing now.
So now when I go out, I have no pants to wear. They don't fit.
Yeah, don't reopen.
I haven't worn these
market.
pants since last March. Yeah. Oh, they don't fit no more.
Yeah, that's the downfall of COVID with me too. Is I put on a few extra COVID pounds, and I'm like, time to get rid of those stretchy buffet pants. That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, with COVID, I mean, we talk about it a little bit, man. Being a newer business, newer to the area with that business, and you got the approved professionals. You're a member, you have been, but we're talking, mentoring, struggles of small business. How much has COVID kind of hurt or hindered or helped? Where are you at with that?
That's one thing I think small businesses struggle with, owners, finding mentorship, someone to just be able to sit and talk business with a little bit that understands, not that's biased one way or the other. You can talk to the wife or somebody in there, just, oh, poor baby, I understand.
Yeah, they're more they're more worried about stress. They're not worried about reality.
Yeah, or how do we fix it? What can we do brainstorming with? If you have partners in business, you probably you're able to share some of that stress and brainstorm. But as a sole proprietor, you're kind of trying to do everything. You feel sometimes you're doing it alone.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the stigmas, though, that with the approved professionals we're trying to break, is you're not alone. One of the sales pitches that I give with the Ontario Approved when we're talking to people is it's a network of people at different stages of business with different facets of knowledge, but also different facets of mistakes. Mm-hmm. I use a major example I use a lot of time is when the postal strike was coming around. Probably about 5-6 years ago, we knew it was coming, and we had guys that mail everything and rely on mail to get it, like they barely knew email. We had an hour and a half discussion with young bloods, old bloods, middle dogs, the whole 9 yards, to talk about how much the mail system hinders, helps, and maybe doesn't affect your business as a whole. And that was all based on the quality of people we had in the group. So somebody like yourself, I mean, sitting across, and I think it's about moving the table. You got to move your table around and sit beside different people till you find that guy you jive with. Right. And then just start having a conversation. Next thing you know, it's like, hey, Tony, do you want to go out for coffee? And talk business, or maybe you express your struggles and build up that way. But I agree with you. I mean, I was an entrepreneur that I didn't have mentors. I had my old man. He was in business, but that was it. I didn't have anyone to talk to, and it was frustrating as hell.
And we learned by my mentor was mistakes.
Yeah,
we learned from making your mistakes. It's kind of as we get older, I guess, our body's falling apart, but I think our minds are becoming sharper. And I don't want to say sharper, but experience. When I tell you something, it may not just. It's because I probably might have been through it myself.
Yeah.
Not So some of the startup companies, that's what I want to share is not just bookkeeping, but hey, I've felt some of these struggles. I've been there, done that.
Yeah, you've stubbed your toe on that. Before.
I'm not telling you, this plan just from scatterbrain and stuff. It's through experience.
Do you find there's much relation to your experiences in the States with Canada, or is it two different worlds as far as business?
Very similar.
Is it?
More safety oriented here. So I got to wear my yellow oranges, my hard hat, and safety glasses when I'm working in the desk doing bookkeeping.
Every time an American says the word orange, I really want to go to a specific topic. It's that orange pumpkin that just got exited out of...
Yellow?
Well, Trump.
Oh.
But I won't. He's gone and everything's good. It's just where my head goes. Every time an American says the word orange, I'm like...
And then I not to go off subject, I'd never seen so much orange and yellow vests and safety stuff until I moved here.
Really?
Yeah, but when they're paying for your healthcare kind of stuff, they're going to have stronger requirements. Then that's some of what I see.
That's like a business.
That's some of what
States.
I see. Yeah, where
they want you hurt. Well, I'm just because you have to pay for it.
Well, but they're private owned, so
Oh.
the government don't care.
See, I'm an architect during the day. I've got safety vests, hard hats, safety glasses, first aid kits, pylons. But that's because we measure stuff like in a parking lot. I may be out in a parking lot measuring the facade of a building, and I don't want to get hit by a car. That's funny. You think it's more safe here? What is it? The further south you go, they think we're dodging hockey pucks and living in igloos.
But I've still got all my fingers and the digit stuff.
So it couldn't have been that
So
dangerous.
it can't have been that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So football.
Yeah, I love football. I'm a big sports fan. Used to play, and now it's more to watch.
Yeah.
Notre Dame fan. Big Notre Dame fan.
Yeah.
College football.
So Kevin Spencer's a big college. He's Alabama, I think is what he said. Is that the
Yeah, 'cause-
Roll Tide thing?
yeah.
He yelled Roll Tide. I think
Yeah.
that's what he yelled. I'm not big in college football. I'm
I
big
grew
in
up
NFL.
like an hour away from South Bend, which is where Notre Dame is. So
So did you get to see games?
yeah, I've seen a few. It's quite the experience.
It's so that is now like, let's compare Canada to U.S. a little bit, because an NFL game compared to the CFL, I think it's like watching flag football to real football.
Yeah. Well, it's different. I can't get into it up here. Just I knew the players, or a lot of them from college, or seen them. Versus here, it's just I don't know who they are. Haven't when they go pro in the States.
We've got an
I've at least been
Ottawa
able to see
team
them.
here, and I mean CFL's good, but I mean it's very slow.
I don't know what I don't mean this.
So have you adapted to hockey up here a little bit now, or
I can't. Can't
They're
see
gonna
the
take
puck.
your- they're gonna
I
take
used to
your
like it
passport away.
in the States. They, but my oldest son is a big hockey fan, and my grandson is, I think 3.
Yeah.
And he sent me. He's on the ice already playing in a little midget league, whatever.
Yeah.
So
like
I'm
the
like,
Timbit
great.
league we have up here, right?
Yeah. Like I'm 3 years old and out there skating, and ice skating I never did. I roller skated stuff, but hockey I just never. I played a little bit on the. Nintendo back when it came out, but it just
You want to see something with these little midgets?
basketball was my big thing, so even in the wintertime I'd find a gym to go into. I was more of the gym rat.
I love basketball, man. That's what I played all the
and
way
then,
through. But you want a true Canadian experience with the little men, like the little guys. Whether you're a skier or not, go to a hill. I don't care if you sit down at the bar and have a few whiskeys to keep yourself warm. Yeah, they teach these little monsters with no poles. I was skiing once at Calabogie, and one of these little buggers came down backwards, no poles, and I'm a grown teenage kid trying to impress a girl probably. And dude's going backwards, no poles, down and like you said, he's this little midget. And I'm like, I can barely stand up with poles. And he just going down the mountain backwards.
But they have less fear.
Oh,
You know why? Because they have less experience of falling and breaking that leg,
well,
or the recovery
the
it
excuse I
takes.
use to a lot of people is gravity likes me a heck of a lot more than a little 80-pound boy.
Right.
Yeah, I fall a
Yeah.
lot harder. But yeah, it's one of the cool things to watch is these little guys getting trained. And it's just like a little bunch of, like you said, midget bombing skiers, and they're crazy.
Yeah.
And they see a half pipe, and I'm gonna try that. It's insane. So football's pretty cool. So what's Notre Dame's kind of hurrah? Like this, go Riptide,
Go Irish.
go Irish.
Go Irish.
So Kevin
They're
can
Irish.
suck it and go Irish.
Yeah.
That's a challenge to you, Mr. Spencer.
Although, yeah, Alabama's kicked their butt a few times, but
Yeah, see, I got so into college football, man. And then this year, it seems weird to even get into March Madness with my NCAA basketball because it's just, I have a feeling it's going to be just kind of goofy.
I love the March Madness, but I don't get they don't show as much
No.
college basketball up here for me to stay up on as much to make
No,
it as fun.
it's like they only give us this big finale.
Yeah.
So you can't follow your
So-
team through.
Yep.
That's weird. So yeah, man. So bookkeeping, you kind of want to say, luxury or necessity. I really like that headline. Can you dive into that a bit more?
Well, especially with COVID hit, the first round, I kept most of my clients because we kind of restructured some of the payment. I was flexible, understanding, and restructured a little bit, and we made it through. By the time the second one hit, by the end of the year,
yeah, that September, December,
the clients had taken a hit, and I realized that in some cases, bookkeeping can be a luxury and not necessarily a necessity to pay for. Doesn't mean you can't do it now. It's either they're going to do it, which was some of what they said, or
so you're talking about clients that retracted their services from you because of the
to either do it
shortage.
Themselves because revenue wasn't there. It's been down. Hopefully, if it picks back up, it wasn't service related. It was just
it's
clients
related.
revenue. Yeah, you got to cut where you can cut, and bookkeeping, unfortunately, can be shucked off, let's say, I guess.
So we can't say people's names or clients' names or anything, but in general terms, in experience, are 50%, 100% of those clients that retracted services, right? Are they in good shape? Was it a luxury? Or, like, I know you want to say you hope they come back, but, like, I fear somebody like that's doing more harm than good. Are they competent to do their books, or are you nervous that they're going to bring back a bit of a mess or some troublesome? You know what I mean?
That's a good question, because part of my job is trying to get them back. They were good clients.
Yeah.
But down the road is to check in on them so that maybe if they are struggling, they might not feel comfortable reaching back out or have the time,
ashamed or embarrassed that they didn't
a little bit
continue,
embarrassed.
Right?
But by me reaching out and just offering that help or how's it going, checking in on them, they like that.
Your videos probably play a good thing.
And sometimes,
on that too, right?
because somebody will be like,
content,
"How can I do this?" or something. You can say, "Hey, check out one of my videos," and that's how I make them. Some is by some of the questions I hear through some of the Facebook groups or clients themselves. Instead of me trying, I can tell you over the phone if that works for you, or I can shoot you a little video and here you go, a little more personalized, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be key to your business, right? Is because, I don't care what Joe Blow's problems were. I want you to know my problems and what gaps I'm missing as far as the bookkeeping goes. So that's, no, I like I say, I follow your page on social media, and we'll get all the contact information up for everyone, but I like the videos. And I think that's a cool part, is check out the FAQs either on QuickBooks or in your own little chat group or other people's chat groups, and start answering those common questions.
And answer.
It's a good little hook, line, and sinker.
Answer them in a way they can understand.
Yeah. You always got to
not accounting talk,
no.
but
you get out there and
or
you're
shorter,
like, "Hi, everybody."
or shorter. I'm learning, short and simple. If they want more, hey, schedule an appointment. Email me, get a hold of me. We'll actually
those touch leads
talk more.
Yeah, those touch leads are pretty cool.
People lose their attention span a little bit, so I don't want to drag it out too long. But in some cases, there's a lot of info. So
like what Instagram is 1 minute, 1 second that you're allowed to do a video.
Yeah.
So explain bookkeeping to me in 1 minute, 1 second, Tony. Go.
Yep.
That's it's the same with architecture. We try our best to.
You find the clicks and then
but
put them out
some
there.
people expect you to summarize
It's kind of like
it
fishing,
in a minute.
though. It's kind of like fishing, though. You just find the right bait. What works, and if it's not working, try something else.
I find the Superstore works the best for that.
Yeah, that's why I say it's experience. See, we learn through experience.
I'm not a fisherman. You're a fisherman?
I used to a lot.
Yeah?
Now I haven't much here.
I think it's just the boredom thing.
I'm not. I like to go if we're catching something. I don't want to go sit there an hour, and if that, we might as well take a 12-pack. At least we catch something.
Yeah.
I
had some friends
that stand there and not catch nothing all day long. They're just fishing.
Yeah, I guess that's
Not
hunters
me.
are that way too. Eh?
Not me.
It's more about the camp than it is the thing. Like, I'm a big camper. You a camper?
Try to be.
Try?
Yeah,
You're
it's
just not that
kind of
outdoors
hard.
guy?
No, I like it. It's just finding the time. And then like last year, we bought a little a 1960 Scotty Sportsman.
Oh, yeah.
You have to drive by Sharp's Lane sometime. But so it's this little guy. I can barely stand up. It's got in the whole floor, which is about 3 by 3.
Wife's got
Wife
a foot
loves
on your
it.
ass to push you in
Yeah,
type
wife
thing?
loves it. And I said, well, the next one, we did it for kind of a refurbish. And it's halfway there. And I said, well, the next one I want to be able to stand up in.
That's what we did.
But then we got it.
We just upgraded ours, and I was blown away because the one model of trailer we had like a flat ceiling, right? And I'm a tall guy.
Yeah.
I was hitting my head on the smoke detectors and lights. But then we just upgraded our trailer, and we got one, and it's got a dome roof. And I'm like, why every single trailer should have a dome roof?
Yeah.
Because I can stand now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's amazing how people don't think of this stuff.
The small things.
Ugh, well, those big things.
That
It's
make-
those giant,
Small things for us
giant
big guys.
Brockville native men that are 6'4" and 380 pounds. I mean, I got to be
But
able
we
to get
had
into it.
we just got it fixed kind of beginning of last year. Was ramped up to take it out. And then COVID, so
Well, I'll tell you. Here's my
Okay.
first piece of mentoring advice: make time.
right.
And everyone listening that knows me really well is going to be like, that's bullshit. Dave says that, but Dave doesn't do that. I play good.
Yeah.
I get a lot of time, but you may not know. Most people do know. So I'm an insomniac. So 4 hours sleep, man, is what I operate on.
Wow.
Like this morning, I got here at 5:20 in the morning. So by the time you arrived, 9:30.
Yeah.
So I've had 4 hours of work already. And we're just starting the day.
I used to be like that. Once I
So
got sleep
I'm
apnea.
43, you're 51.
Yeah.
I only got 7, 8 more years, and then I won't want to do that anymore.
I think it was about. Well, no, it's probably longer than that. But I have sleep apnea.
Oh,
Once I started.
apparently I do too.
Once I started using the CPAP, I sleep like a baby most of the
Really?
time now. Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
amazing.
have to edit
It's
that part
amazing.
out so my wife doesn't start
Yeah.
nagging me to get one.
And well, heavy drinking. That's how I found out and went and yeah. But I used to couldn't sleep.
And it doesn't
Worry.
doesn't bug
worry.
you?
What?
the
I get used to it. I mean, I've been using it for over 15 years or so. At first, yeah, it's like I say it's like a helicopter landing on your face.
see if you see me napping,
now-
if you see me napping in a chair, touch my face and back up. Because I'll tell you, I go off.
Now I even
just-
take it camping and stuff, though.
Really?
I mean, I'm used to it.
I had
and-
gallbladder surgery 4 or 5 years ago, and you're out cold, right? So I wake up in recovery, and this doctor comes up, and I don't like doctors to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. We need them. Thank you for everything you do, especially through COVID. But I don't like to
No.
be pinned in a bed and so on and so forth. So nurse and the doctor come running in because I got to go to the bathroom. I just woke up from the greatest sleep I've ever had because they knocked me out. Got to go to the bathroom. I'm pulling all this stuff out of me that I didn't even realize I was pulling out, like IVs and stuff. I just had to go to the bathroom. So anyway, doctor comes in, gets me all calm, cooled, and collected, and he says, you snore. And I said, I'm one of the best. And he says, well, you stop breathing. And I said, well, if I'm talking to you, are you in heaven? And he looks at me, and I was like, well, if I stop breathing, I'm dead. So did I just quietly breathe or stop? So anyway, they gave me this whole sleep apnea thing.
Yeah.
And then he shows me a picture of this alien-shaped device that they're going to strap to my face. And I'm like, nope, I don't have it.
So you did you do the sleep test?
No.
Oh, well, see, I did.
How do you sleep test an insomniac?
Well, I didn't. And
Unless
when I
they're gonna
did
give
it,
me the happy
when
juice
I
again.
did the sleep test with it, I'm like, they're not going to get nothing. I didn't even sleep. It felt like, an hour maybe through here and there. But they got some, said it helped. And
Of course they did. They want to sell you the machine.
yeah, and that was in the States too. So yeah,
Oh.
it was all,
I don't know, man. I'm maybe I'm drinking on that age where the sleep's gonna catch up. Because I mean,
wife's supposed to use it too, but she don't. So it's all about. Some
I
people
just
like it,
fear
some
it's
people
another one of
don't.
those things that they're trying to make every one of us wear. Did monkeys
It's
wear them?
conspiracy. It's conspiracy.
Well, yeah. That's the next. What do they put in my CPAP? If mine's not a if mine's not like a 40 Creek vaporizer.
Hey, if William Shatner can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, yes, eh? I guess if
There you go,
if the if the captain's doing it, why shouldn't we? I don't know. It's one of those things that I just don't believe it. Like all this stuff that we're putting in, like the vaccine's going to be the hot topic now coming out with COVID.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I saw a post on the weekend. It actually made me laugh, and it was like it said something along the lines like, "Quit bragging about your vaccine, you guinea pig." And it's been expedited so fast. How safe? How reliable? How accurate is it? If you look back, you and I were talking. Like Joe Rogan said, like a lot of the stuff that we brag about in history were 3 people ago, 300 years. That's 3 people. And I'm stealing that from Joe because when I heard it, it made sense. So we've had the flu, right? Which has been a big outbreak. They haven't been able to make a vaccine for the flu. That's like the common cold, the sniffles, yourself, all this other stuff. But then we get this utter collapse of the economy based on COVID-19. And now, what is there, three variants on top of that? But don't worry, in a matter of 4 months, we pumped out, 5 vaccines now?
Yeah, I know. And
I'm supposed to roll my sleeve up?
What's your other choice? Defiance?
I don't know if it's really
And
defiance,
I know
but
what
it's
you're saying.
wait and see.
Well, and I don't know. I mentioned my wife got her first shot yesterday.
And how did that go?
Then it was fine. She had a 15-meal weight, said everything.
Because that's the other end of this,
We're
right?
checking this morning, and she hasn't turned into any kind of...
She hasn't grown another arm.
No, not
Maybe
yet.
that's now that
It
she
could be
cured
coming,
from the
though,
CPAP,
after.
She doesn't
But-
need it anymore.
But the next shot's not until July.
Yeah, it's 30 days or something.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like 2 weeks or something, but I'm like...
I think it's supposed to be
You
30
could have
days.
it. You could have it in
Yeah, and I
in
guess
that much time.
So that's the Pfizer vaccine.
And then how much? Well, it's only been a year, so all the research they've done is a year old.
Yeah.
Less than that.
Do you want to be the first mouse?
And yeah, I
or
was
the
gonna say,
fifth mouse?
yeah. So it's all
I'm
do it
pro
for your country.
It's great
Is
for
that
the
what they say?
economy.
Do it for your country. If this vaccine didn't work, then you're paving the pathway for those behind
Well,
us.
they're talking now that it's going to be expedited to a point where we could get some normalcy probably by, in between August and September, I think is what they're targeting now. I'll get it for that, so that we can sit and have dinner again, so we can network again, have a trade show again. My conspiracy theory is when winter comes back, that COVID-20, right? They're going to bump it by a number, and whoops, we missed that strain.
I was reading a little bit that this is going to be an endemic, and I don't know if people know what the difference is. We're going to deal with this for
it's here.
It's here. Like the flu, it's an endemic. That's stuff that's just not going to go away. We're going to learn to deal with it.
Well, what was it, smallpox or whatever that whipped through?
Yeah.
Like all they did was bury it.
Yeah.
Because we get outbreaks. I know in my industry, when I was coming through college, they said like excavation can be dangerous because you can unearth a smallpox grape.
Yeah.
So no, I think I'm with you. I think this is.
So we're going to have to learn to deal with it. There's going to be change with the vaccines. There's going to be changes.
Well, even the flu shot. Every year it's a different shot.
Or it just covers this, and you're still
It covers
susceptible to
last
that.
year. That's what people don't realize is it covers last year's.
And same with the flu. So you're still going to have the pro people that do, and the pros that don't. Like I never really did. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Wife kind of tries to make me do it now, just
because
it's her thing to do.
Yes,
I guess.
dear.
Yeah. So I do it. Well, she works in the pharmacy, so it's her job to recruit me to.
Well, today we're filming this. It's March 15th today, and at 8 a.m. the vaccine portal opened, and I believe it's 1941, 80 years old. So we got a little bit of a wait before it gets to our brackets, but it's open, and we're wishing them well. We hope. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we need to get back to work.
I hope it does work. But then I heard people ask, so does that mean you don't have to wear a mask now?
No. No,
It's
masks.
not.
I've said it on a few podcasts. You've probably heard me. I think 3 years.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Yeah,
It's going to be a while.
it's been around in Asia for a long time. They've been wearing masks on and off and some of them just wear them.
And I guess one of the nice things, I haven't had a cold or flu or anything
one has.
in the last year.
Now you're getting me all riled up in conspiracy theory because I'll tell you, nobody has.
Right?
I mean, I know a few people that have got like the sinus colds and stuff because of this yin yang of weather that we're experiencing.
Yeah.
But I did not. Everything was COVID. Nobody got a flu.
No.
Did you get sick in December? Did you get what? No,
No,
I did.
I mean, I haven't even really been
Well,
sick.
and
And normally I will. There's
Sorry,
certain
like
times you
pre-COVID. Did you get?
No.
So I'm convinced I had COVID in over the Christmas break,
See, and we-
2019.
and we went to Mexico right
You bugger.
February.
Tell me you don't
Mid-February.
relax and you're telling me you went to Mexico.
That was anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But so we went mid-February of last year, right before.
Oh, so
And
you're
then
right.
a month
like,
before
literally.
it really hit. So there was a few people wearing masks on the plane, not very many.
Yeah, because
Mostly
we were one of the
Asians.
last-
Nothing.
Yeah.
I think it kind of hit there first, so a lot of them was that. But
Yeah, it hit Asia. And
nobody really was. So who knows? We could have
Been
had it
exposed.
by then,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, you could be
Don't know.
asymptomatic. You never know any of
Yeah.
it. But yeah, I think it was like, I want to say it was early December that I think Asia kind of had it in the news. It kind of broke in Canada around February, but yeah, you coming back like March was.
If
hell
I'd been a
on the
couple
world.
weeks later, we may not have been. We'd have been stuck in Mexico, maybe or something.
That'd suck, wouldn't it? Could you do a year in Mexico?
I wouldn't. I don't know. The summers
work
are
virtually,
The,
so
the
did
summers
you have
are
your
horrible.
laptop?
I have my iPad, so I can do a lot from there. Yeah, but
Barrus.
I was limited on that, right? And I'm like, I had a couple potential calls. I'm like, I gotta respond. Okay, I guess.
Oh.
Keep it short.
Mentorship number 2. Here's hot topic number 2, man. I am religious that you have to educate our clients, those monkeys that have evolved into humans, to respect your hours. One of the detriments, and this is where I was talking earlier about this fast-paced society, every one of us are carrying one of these stupid things. This does not mean on a Saturday at 2 o'clock or while I'm in Mexico sipping Mai Tais, watching the sunset across a beach, that I'm going to answer a call.
Really, I'm the opposite.
Really? I
Call,
think it's
maybe
bad.
not. But if I'm functionable, I'll respond.
But you go for all that money and relax to not be functional.
As I'm a little different, I guess, in the bookkeeping, they may have a simple question of. So it depends on.
Careful with that,
a little,
my friend.
Yeah, a little depends, but I also like the being available.
See,
That's
one of the
one
big
thing I try and stress is value is.
But you gotta have
if I can't
downtime.
if I
You
can't
gotta.
answer you, then I won't. If I'm doing something, I won't.
It's a slippery slope.
But
I got
yeah,
a few people.
I gotta watch because some clients can take a little advantage.
My experience, man, is a lot of them. I don't even give my cell phone number out.
Yeah.
No.
And
Clients
was
get
like
my
that.
office number. That's it.
I was like that with my construction, and rarely would give my cell phone. No, if you got, if you want me, call. That was back when I had the landline though, and kept the. We eliminated that a while back, but
So you don't use. Just comparing apples to apples here. So you don't use your auto response like on weekends, saying, "Hey, sorry, we're closed."
no.
Oh God, I live by it. I get probably 70.
but I'm home based. And sometimes, I guess sometimes maybe if I'm going out or something, if I don't have service, whatever.
I just fear for you if
block
you're doing
it.
24-hour. Ideally, that's what you're doing. Is if they don't.
It's in the
like,
virtual
there's-
world. Plus, I've got clients
I
that are
guess.
out.
You win that
They're
one.
2 or 3 hours behind, maybe. Like I said,
Oh yeah,
if
because you said you had a few that are out
I got 2 that's
West
out
Coast,
in Alberta. Yeah.
and that's
2
2.5,
2
3
hours.
hours.
Yeah, I think I don't know with the time change.
I had an architect call the other day from.
But then I'll pay the favor back because I'll text them at my time in the morning. So
maybe that's
it's
why I
a
don't
give
have
and
any.
take, right?
Maybe that's why I don't have any Alberta clients. At
I-
5:30 in the morning, I'm hitting them up.
Yeah,
It's
and so
3:30
by me
there.
doing that, by me accepting that from them, then I feel that I don't feel bad when I'm up at 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and got a question. I feel the same, that I can text you and expect a response.
So let's see if I can do a little Q&A power session with you and do a let's speed date mentor wise.
All right.
And it's just questions I wish people asked me when I started my business or taught me. Okay? And I'm going to just go off the cuff because I think you and I are finally getting loose and we're finally getting somewhere now. So, do you know your threshold? Yeah, it's
Shot.
Every time it's wrong, you got to do a shot.
Ooh.
And the chair's rigged. I'll hit you with electricity. Buzz.
Right.
Yeah. It's he's not having seizures, folks. I'm buzzing his chair. Do you know your threshold of maximum clients? Like, do you know what you, in your current state, what your maximum client number is? Just yes or no's.
Yes.
Oh, so that's a point for you.
Yes.
You obviously don't know the value of time, but I think I like your answer where you're saying virtual. So, like, stop at 5,
And,
start at 8.
There again, experience, because I've done it since a long time. So yes, I'm not saying I don't have those
Boundaries.
down times, but I try and be available as much as possible.
Yeah, no, that could just be architecture versus.
It's a 24/7 world in the banking, if you think about it, right? So
They're not open at 5:30.
you can go to the ATM.
Yeah.
So
It laughs at me when I walk up to it.
like I said, if I'm sleeping and I won't get up to do it, but I'll check it in the morning when I get up, or if I had too many beers. I've tried to learn that. Yeah, try not to respond sometimes if you've had too many beers.
No.
Depending
That's
on
why
the
you
client,
need your
though.
downtime.
You got to know your clients.
Yeah. Well, that's the next one. Is do you find you're forming a personal relationship with your clients, like that friendly?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's key. I think that's key to
I had
every small
one-
business. Being personal.
I had one bring his father to me yesterday, which was
That's
it's
cool.
starting to get a little bit of the referral, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Takes time. I noticed that on my other business.
So the value of advertising. The value of advertising, in my mind, and you can pick A or B. A, advertise hard when you're busy because you got the money to spend, or B, advertise hard when you're not busy so that you have work tomorrow.
Can I put a C? Because I think
Sure.
it takes a little bit of combination of both.
Okay. So it's all the above.
Yeah, it's a year-round plan or a full kind. If you actually think of it business-wise, do everybody do it that way? No, you want to have a consistent plan instead of doing the roller coaster. Try and see what you can do to level the playing field out, kind of. You know what I mean? So if you're spending 200 when you're busy and 50 when you're not, make it 150 across the board.
That's the right. So that's B. That's the answer I need. Is
Yeah.
you have to level that playing field.
Yeah.
Power of networking, a must or a luxury?
I would say, coming from two different industries, I would have to say it's industry
Like it depends on your
related
job.
and time related. Like, yeah, I've never did networking in my whole construction, at least not this form. You know, you're sitting at a diner talking to another contractor. That's networking.
Yeah.
Old style, right? But,
Yeah.
here I think
everyone at the Greasy Spoon chat.
like in the bookkeeping, I found it's the more they see you, the more they can talk to you, hear about you, see your, the more the clients will reach out to you versus being in construction and having a good appearance. And
So out of those 5 questions, I'm going to give you a 4 out of 5 because I still disagree with the time frame thing. I think it's one of those.
and that's where I need some mentorship, right?
Yeah.
That are people going, I have. I don't know if I want to call it some anxiety, but if I get
You've
a
got
potential
anxiety. I
client,
saw it at the start.
you start going, I get my blinders on and I'm focused. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. I just get that rush to adrenaline rush.
I think you and I have talked about that a little bit in the past, and anxiety is one of those issues. You know, I almost wish you said this at the start of the podcast because a lot of people don't realize, like, I've got anxiety. Like, I get sick to my stomach before I go to those networking meetings.
Before I
Like,
go
I'm standing
clients.
up. Oh, my clients. I have had numerous times where I've even driven. Let's say I drive out to your house. We've got a set time for me to sit down and measure your house or go over the design changes you want. I text you pretty much from 2 driveways away or email you, canceling. Because I am so earth-shattering ill because I don't know you, I don't know the situation, and my anxiety goes through the roof. But you've seen me at the network meetings, and I'm up talking, and I sound what I think is intelligent, and I know what I'm talking about. I'm ill as a dog, man. That's why I run out of there at the end. Like, it's not that I don't want to spend the time to chat and talk with you guys. I am ill, and it's crazy. And I bet you 50% of the group is that way.
Oh yeah,
it's
human nature, I think.
John Bullitt from Brock IT told me
nature.
once that, he's going to correct me. And he explains it the best. It was something like the endorphins in our kids today are getting endorphin kicks off of video games and leaning over these edges and stuff that they see, but we don't get that kick anymore, and we're getting old, and we're sitting in a chair now instead, and that's why our anxiety levels, because I used to be able to walk the pitch of a roof. Now I'm terrified of heights.
See, I still get the butterfly. I did roofing for a lot of times. Last one I did was
And
my
are you
sister's.
still good with heights?
I'm not. I've never. The older I get, the less I like the heights because I'm not as nimble as I used to be.
No, we don't bounce like we used to.
And I fell a few times. That's probably why my body's not in as great a shape. And in the States, we didn't have proper safety equipment like we mentioned before. But
no, I just like in the anxiety level, man. And I don't think there's a cure, but I think you said like this chatting and slowly breaking down those barriers with the people in the group. I think it's going to be beneficial for you. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think you're a great guy. I definitely appreciate the interview. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself.
Yes, it was real nice.
Yeah,
Kinda.
Nerves are gone.
Yeah, I'm feeling comfortable now, and that's what I'm talking about anxiety through the experience there again. I started doing this in '98. You're basically trying to sell yourself, and I'm an introvert. I don't like talking, but I've learned I'm good at it. Once I comfortable, and kind of quit thinking.
I think that's the same.
I overanalyze, and I'm like, I'm going to sound
Like
stupid.
overthink.
I'm going to do that. I kind of know what to say. And if you notice on my video, I brought my notes today just in case. But on some of my videos, I'll write out what I'm saying because.
Do you find that helps?
Yes, but I almost worry that it makes me sound more like a robot.
Exactly. I sound like a
Yeah.
moron if I sat here and
Yeah.
I was like, virtual bookkeeping.
Well, you can read. I can read it without sounding too much. Like I get it from the wife, and she says, "Yeah, you sounded all right." I said, "So it didn't really sound like a robot, like I'm reading it." So
how many takes on average for a video?
Just one, because
Yeah?
Well, no, I can't, because I can edit it 2 or 3 maybe. It depends how it starts usually.
And do you find are you like with me, like Thursdays we get home, the podcast is airing, and I sit down with my wife and I want criticism, right? Because even right now, like when we're done this, I'm going to be like, oh, I wish I asked him this, or did I say this different, or did I say
20/20 hindsight. I always like, or when you're watching it, and that's why I don't know if I'll watch this.
That's what I was going to get at. Do you let your wife watch the video and say it's good or not?
I'm learning. I'm learning that a lot of times I try and ask her for her input. Unfortunately, she gives it, and I take it personal a lot of times. Well, if you didn't want to know, then why did you ask?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. You could.
You're supposed to say it's amazing.
Thank you, dear.
And let me look like an idiot on viral.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming
Dave.
in, and I wish you nothing but the best. And yeah, I mean, if you need mentoring, man, I'll offer it. I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm up for a chat.
It's working together though, and trying to use the people resources. That's one thing we need to share.
Take it easy, brother.
Thank you, Dave. Make sure to check me out on BarrusBookkeeping.com.
You got her. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Pros Talk, an SME podcast hosted by Dave Annable from Canada Approved Professionals, Inc. For more information, visit www.ontapproved.ca. The Pros Talk is an Ontario-approved professionals production. Special thanks to DCE Media Productions, dcemediaproductions.ca. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe on any of the available platforms.